Hello guys, we say Russian money, we think Gazprom. Gazprom has always been a symbol of Russian wealth, this uncontrolled Russian wealth. You've seen Gazprom as a sponsor of world championships. It is the flagship of the Russian oil and gas industry. And now Gazprom is done, which means Russian economy is done. According to the official reports coming from this once richest Russian company, their net loss is 21.3 billion rubles in the first quarter of the 2025. It is uncomparable even to 2024. And all because of the collapsing Russian economy, exhausting war, sanctions that work, rising production costs, and many other reasons. But trust me, if there is anything in Russia that represents its essence the best, it is Gazprom. And if Gazprom is in trouble, Russia is in a great trouble. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, the only working peace plan, subscribe, we discuss all of that on the channel. For decades, Gazprom was a symbol of Russian wealth, that uncontrolled Russian wealth drawn from the natural resources of its vast territories, the majority of which, by the way, do not belong to this classic Russia, but to the republics, unfortunately, suppressed by the Kremlin. But that's the different topic. So anyway, Gazprom, a company directly linked to the Russian state, was a symbol of Russian strength, stability. It was something Putin boasted personally, and top managers of that company had very serious influence on the politics inside Russia. And perhaps they also believe that Putin's blitzkrieg will be a blitzkrieg. It resulted in a 3 and more year-old war, which does not show signs of ending, but Gazprom and Russian economy do show these signs. According to official open data, Russia's oil giant, once the flagship of the Russian, or we may even say fossil fuel industry, oil industry, reports devastating losses. And in Russia, they typically hide their troubles. So we can imagine that they cannot do it anymore. It's just like Chernobyl, when they cannot hide the effects. So just in this first quarter of 2025, Gazprom reported net loss $21.3 billion. You may say, well, war, economy, blah, 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 but just in 2024, the situation was different. In 2024, they reported 36.5 billion profit for the very same period. So something tremendous is happening right now, not just to the Russian oil industry, but to the Russian economy in general. And with all the efforts to hide that, with all the efforts to, hide those holes and problems, they fail. Recently, there was a very strong comment from the CEO of Gazprom, and I have a separate video about that, where he speaks about tremendous problems in the oil industry in general, because during these decades, Russia was using easy to reach shallow deposits. And right now they run out of oil and they have to develop logistically problematic, very expensive for the maintenance and development deposits. And this will not bring any serious revenue. Plus, Russians typically use the infrastructure built by those imprisoned nations during the Soviet times. I don't see any big projects running apart from their wars, after this 1991. Remember to subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine, and please share these videos to support. That's important in the world where social media actually decide a lot, and we can do something even better. Please support my 5th NEFO campaign with the amazing team for the best 3 Ukrainian brigades. I will introduce you more to them in the following video. But we can help them with trucks that they need, with drones, and you can get amazing patches. Please check the link and support us. That is the best way to achieve lasting peace in my part of the world and in the world in general. So this crisis in the Kremlin fossil fuel industry is something very big, something that they cannot mask. And officially, their revenues fell by 5%, and the production costs, that's what I'm talking about, this really complex oil deposit. So, and the production costs raise in country to 6.8%. And even without sanctions, even without Ukrainian drones destroying 1/3 or 1/4, at least for sure, of the Russian oil refining industry, Mother Nature is tired of those Russian vampires. I think that's a beautiful phrase. Let me know what do you think in the comments below, and how would you describe this situation? It's interesting. Which do you consider like oil, gas, vital for the Russian survival? Because I do, and maybe you remember some cool, interesting phrases or something. Let me know in the comments below. I love quoting you. So, another quote: Russia is this criminal mafia gas station that only gets money from the resources it sells. Sooner or later, and we see that sooner, these resources will run out, and Russia will run out of that money, bloody money that they use to destroy democracy in the world. And any information about this diminished ability is always a victory. And to sum it all up, just like a cherry on the top, is the decision or the offer of the board of directors of Gazprom not to pay dividends in 2024. What if not the sign of successful politics of Vladimir Putin, of lots of money inside Russia, that is? I loved watching a recent video by Jake Bro where he actually speaks openly about Russia's GDP, Russia's money that in general is like 5.9% of America's wealth. And when Donald Trump speaks about potential deals on the blood of the Ukrainian people with Russia, even if you don't care about morals, even if you don't have any values, guys, you're not winning when you cooperate with Russia. It's not a victory to find this criminal country run by a mafioso for the 30 years that simply exploits natural resources and to sell it as success. No one sane, no one careful, no one who cares about businesses of his or her country wants to invest in Russia or start anything in Russia, because you cannot be successful and healthy and alive there if you are like a law-obedient citizen. Because either you are not successful and they don't care about you, you join the army, you get to the meat grinders, or you actually succeed, and then someone from corrupted circles like Putin, and there are lots and lots of them, comes and says, I want your business. And you are drinking bad tea out of the window, or you sell that business for nothing. That is the Russian kind of business. So don't get tricked by that. Russia is definitely not a success on the list of your friends or investors, but Ukraine is. Remember to subscribe to my other social media, the links in the description of this video. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Let's make 10,000 subscribers on my new channel, where I share weekly updates about what is life in times of the big war, and maybe some are useful to you in this chaotic and very unpredictable times. And remember to check our merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters. But most importantly, thank you for being friends of mine and friends of Ukraine. Слава Україні!